This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle. Welcome back to another edition of the List Building Lifestyle with your host, Igor Kheifets. Usually, when it comes to guest episodes, I strive to invite best-selling authors, marketing experts, and other people who seem like they've been successful their entire lives, who are at a point in their career where they've achieved what you'd call a guru superstardom. But today I want to do something different. I wanted to allow you to go through the emotional journey of making it from rock bottom all the way to the top. And that is why I invited Ryan Hauser, somebody I've met recently and I started working with him recently, who has simply made the path from the very lowest point you can imagine, okay, to all the way to becoming somebody who's a leader in our community today, who was able to build a 42,000 member team in a business opportunity. And I'm not talking about him accomplishing it 2 years ago. I'm talking about him accomplishing it today. Right now, the guy is living proof that a normal, average human being can be born in a really bad environment and simply work hard, mostly on his mind and his work ethics, to become somebody who's able to lead people to success and not only be a great role model, but to be a true inspiration to thousands of people. Ryan, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great to be here.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. First and foremost, I would assume that most of our listeners have no idea who you are, because I myself found out about you only a couple months ago. You're sort of like incognito, underground marketer, because I know everybody. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about how did this thing start for you? When did you get started? How did you get started? And what were you able to accomplish ever since?
All right. Well, I started doing my first online stuff, I would say about 99 to 2000, just selling stuff on eBay. So I had known that you're able to make money from people you don't know and will never speak to. But I didn't really get serious because I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always owned brick and mortar companies, and I like change. And so anyways, I kept changing from company to company and country to country. And it wasn't until about, I would say 2004, when I started really getting serious with online. And I got really serious with it after 2007, once I reached a point in my life that was almost a point of no return. And the main reason that I went to the online world is, recession proof, but just pure freedom. I have 2 daughters that I always want to be there for, no matter when they need me. And online was the only way to fulfill that. I've always been self-employed, but when you own a sign company, you have employees, you have major overhead to deal with. When I was a millionaire in real estate, you had millions of dollars worth of real estate you always had to manage, and you just had to be places. Where with online, it's basically the truest freedom out there, and it's not easy, but it's worth it, And so that's kind of was my main goal, and that's what got me through problems. There was never a night, never a day where I said, "This is just too hard," because I wanted the outcome, and the outcome was the only thing. And my why is my daughters. It's just, if the why is big enough, you will make it. You just got to have your why big enough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we all been there where, we got challenged that way, right? Where we had to make a decision. Is the challenge we're looking at is greater, than the reason we're actually doing this in the first place. So I want to give our listeners a glimpse into what you went through when you got started, because most people I talk to, most people that join my VIP club, most people that come and get traffic with us, it's always the same story. They really want to succeed. They jump from one shiny object to the next. There's a lot of confusion going on. There's a lot of desperation going on. And it seems like they're stuck in this, feedback loop from hell, as one of my favorite authors, Mark Manson, calls it. And so I'm wondering if this was any similar to you, or were you just always successful like you've been with the sign company, the real estate company, and so forth?
Okay, good question. I kind of need to go back way back to my early life to explain, because people are not going to understand why I quit. And so I have fought my whole life. I mean, from when I was a newborn, I was blamed for my parents' marriage, and I was treated accordingly. I'm the second child, 10 months younger than my brother. You can see right there, most people don't have kids 10 months, the same day they get back from hospital having another kid. And anyway, so I had a rough childhood, and it was always that having to fight hard just to get to where other people were just floating around. And so I've always had to fight. I've always had to struggle my whole life. And so in grade 12, I had started my own company, and I made a 6-figure company in grade 12. And I don't have a high school diploma, and I just figured I'd never needed it because I knew I wanted to work for myself. The fact that I left grade 12 making more than any of the teachers in my school, and a couple of them had been teaching for 25 years, I'd already known an employee was not cut out for me because it put me in control of other people's hands, which, according to my upbringing, I wanted to be in my own control. And so the reason I told you a little bit about that childhood is every business I have started, I have made successful. And then when it goes too easy, I self-sabotage the damn thing. I sell it. I give it away. I mean, literally give it away. And I've done that many times. And it's just, I need that struggle and I need that pain subconsciously, like it's just, if I'm not struggling, if things are too easy, it's like I'm back in my childhood where there's no love being felt. And so then when I started going, I had given up a sign company here in Canada and moved to Vegas in a short 3 months. And when I was in Vegas, I loved it. I remember sitting in the backyard with my 2 kids. They were 1 and 4 at the time, in a $19 pool in the backyard, the blow-up pool from Walmart. And I remember leaning back and saying to my wife, this is the life. Now you got to understand, I was poor right then. I just given everything away in Canada, gave it away. And then I let people walk through my house and just take the furniture. And so we moved to Las Vegas. And the reason that was the life to me, as I've analyzed it, since then, is I had nothing but challenges ahead of me. And I had nothing, and that's what I was accustomed to. And that's why I do all I can now to take that fight out of my students, like to where they don't have to fight as hard. But so I went from there. I started a sign company in Vegas, and I ended up buying a house finally. And then when I found out I made equity in that home when I only lived in it for a year, I then said, dude, I got to get into real estate. I just made 30 grand in this house and I didn't do nothing but live in it. So I decided to go into real estate. So again, what did I do? I shut down my company, my sign company that was netting me over $500,000 a year. And I went to sell it, but everybody wanted me to be a partner. I just wanted out. And I just went hard at real estate. Year and a half later, was a millionaire. I retired at the age of 31. And again, did the same thing. Self-sabotaged, went into a serious depression. I didn't even believe in depression back then. To where then I ended up living out on some land. I had ended a perfect marriage. To this day, she's, still in my life. We're still very good friends, but it ended the marriage. And I lived out on my land for 2 years, got depressed so bad I had a gun to my head and I was a half a second from pulling the trigger. And that's when life changed for me. My love for my kids was not enough to stop me from pulling that trigger because I had so much respect for my ex-wife. I'm like, they'll be fine. And plus with my life insurance, they'll just be fine. So you're asking what stopped me from pulling that trigger? Well, I said to myself, am I done on this earth? Is there anything else that I can accomplish? And just immediately, it was like, there are thousands more people I need to be helping in the world. Because that's how I was. That's how I was with the real estate. That's why I made it in real estate. I was just helping people. I wasn't worried about the money. So I put the gun down. I went to bed. The next morning I woke up and I just got on the computer. I'm like, look, if my mind can go from being all and having everything to completely so strong in a negative way that I'm about to kill myself, I got to find a way to control it and put it back in a positive mind. And a year later, I was a certified hypnotist. I had a comedy stage show in Las Vegas. I had a clinical hypnosis office in Vegas. And again, I only did that for a year. But I did it mainly for me to learn how to control my mind. And I'm telling you that mind control is the number one thing really to. If you have control of your mind, there is absolutely nothing in this world that you can't do. And that's where I sit today. It is absolutely impossible for me to get depressed. I get sick maybe once every 3 years now because when I start to get sick, I can literally just kind of go back and sit down for 5 to 10 minutes and fix what I'm getting sick of. Some of the sicknesses that would normally knock me out for like 2 weeks, they don't even enter. So mind control is definitely powerful. And as you know, many of your students struggle for the fact that the companies they're joining don't quit. They quit the companies, and you know what I mean? And it's all a mind choice. It's like, if something's not really easy, people want to quit. And so that kind of brings you up. I don't know if that answered your question exactly, but that gets me to where I'm at. So I've had the ups and I've had the downs, but I'm never more confident and more confident in my life for the rest of my life than I am now, because I have mind control. And what's funny is when you have mind control, your world is a lot more happier. And it's the weirdest thing is all those materialistic things I used to buy all the time. I don't ever care to have most of them. It's just weird. The quality of life is different. Like, you take me back, to 2006? I asked for a Corvette for Christmas. What did I ask for today or this year? 100 Build-A-Bears to go give out to physically and sexually abused children. So it's just weird how don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't drive nice vehicles. I still do, but your mindset changes, your whole life changes. And it's amazing what world is out there if you can get control of your own first.
Wow, that's amazing. So many things to kind of pinpoint, but of course we won't have time to do them all. But I was just going to say that what I'm hearing is that you sort of surpassed the superficial part of the mind. You sort of went beyond your ego, and you can recognize the nice haves in your life, like the good cars and the nice houses. But that's not what gives you true pleasure and true joy. And it seems like the one thing that you care most about is how to help more people. So that is where I would like to take the conversation. Next stage of this conversation. Now we understand where you come from, understand your struggles, or at least we know about them. I'm not sure if I fully understand how you could sabotage so many successful businesses, how you could sabotage the perfect marriage. And this is incredible in and of itself. But I would like to ask you the following question. You said mind control is everything. You said that there's nothing that can stop you now, that you can have full control over your mind. So in other words, if I were to come in and take everything away from you, you'd be building back, and probably within two weeks from now, you'd be having a fully functioning business and making probably some profit too. So with that in mind, what would you say are some things that people don't do right with their minds right now? That, let's just take an average business opportunity seeker, an average person who joins an average business opportunity and goes through the average struggle, the average journey. Like, what are some of the mind tweaks that you would suggest to them that they do, or some of the pitfalls that are waiting for them within their own minds that they should be on the lookout for?
Okay, well, one of them is if they have something that they need to pick, or that they're picking to market, they need to say, look, I'm marketing this one, and give it a year. From the date that you join, give it a year, and you don't move on to anything else unless that company goes under. Because I'm telling you, one of the biggest fails is people, they have the mindset that they're going to get rich quick, and you're just not going to get rich quick. It just does not happen. Yes, if you have $100,000 to go throw at some paid marketing, yeah, you could get rich quick. But come on, how many people really have that and have that power? So the thing is, you need to stick with something for a year. And if you're wondering if it's legit enough, the real simple I have other things that I tell people to look for when they're picking their product. But here's the main thing that you got to look at is if this product sold you, then it can sell somebody else, meaning you can still make a lot of money out of it. So if it ethically sold you, and when I say that, I mean, it wasn't the get rich quick aspect of it that sold you, because honestly, guys, you don't want to build a business, over taking advantage of people in the get rich quick, because they're just never going to make it. But that's really the only stipulation that you have. Now, as far as mind control, it's the people you hang around. It's your lifestyle. It's the people you listen to. So many people will be so gung-ho on a certain product or company. They will read one bad Facebook comment or one bad post, and it will just eat at their gut, and then they're now looking for another opportunity. What they don't know is that guy that put that negative post out there on the internet, not only is he not in the company, he just wrote it because he was just angry that he didn't have the money to join the company. And now you're allowing somebody at a way lower value, weaker position in their life than you are to control where you are. The rule of thumb is, you average the 5 people that you spend your most time in. That's where you're at. That's where you're at size-wise. That's where you're at financially. So much of your life is programmed because it's your conscious mind that is programming your subconscious mind every day. So when you're looking in the mirror, if you look in the mirror and you're one of those people that, for instance, you could have the most amazing eyes, okay, but you have a little bit of a gut. And if you're one of those pretty people that look in that mirror and you immediately go down to your gut and you're like, dude, I'm fat, you're programming your subconscious mind that you're fat. So what does that do? Your subconscious mind cannot program itself. It's not like your conscious mind, okay? So what you're doing is programming it that you're fat. So now your subconscious mind is going to slow down your metabolism. It's going to store fat, and you're going to get fatter. So when you're hanging around people like that who do nothing but eat junk or or they whine about their bills all the time when you go out to eat with them, and they're paycheck to paycheck, like 70% of North America. They are subconsciously keeping you right there. And it is such a struggle. So the best way to get out of your mindset is shut your life off to those people and focus on the people that are making it. Focus on the leaders. For instance, you can scour the internet and not find a negative post from me, even if it's a company that kind of burned me. It just doesn't happen. I just turn my head and I keep moving forward. There's people in your life like that. When I go to dinner with people, they come out and they say, thank you. They keep offering me to pay for my dinner because they like the energy that they walk away with. And that's the type that you need to go with, because programming your subconscious mind is a lot easier than you think. But when you're one of those people that do nothing but watch the news or listen to like rock music or rap music or something as you're going to sleep, you don't realize it if you don't know about the mind, but you're programming your mind for that stuff. It's no different than, have you ever watched a scary movie and then you dreamed something scary that night? And that's what it is. So the more that you can put positive influences in your life and only listen to people that are going places. I mean, this does not happen overnight, but all you got to do is make little steps, and the compound effect will take off. And 6, 7, 8 months down the road, you'll look back on your life and just be like, this isn't even me. How did I get here? Because all of the little things that you did now just took the compound effect and made it to where everything's just coming together. So I hope that answered your question a little bit there.
Oh, yeah, a bit. And of course, this leads me to a bunch more questions. I want to kind of go over a few things that you mentioned just to pinpoint the big points that stuck out for me. So one thing you said was you should stick to one thing, one company, one opportunity, one offer, which means if you got into something, you got into it not because it was a get-rich-quick scheme, because you really went for the shiny stuff, but you really genuinely bought into the idea behind the company or the leadership behind the company. That means someone else can get in as well. That means that someone else can be convinced, which means you can now start marketing that thing, and you should give it at least a year. I am in full agreement with you here. I see all too many people jump companies. In fact, anytime I see a client who approaches us for traffic and they're like, oh, I'm a member of this company and that company, this other company, which one converts best? I want to tell them that whichever you promote best, whichever you sell best, and whichever you believe most, but for the most part, I'll just tell them, let's just start with this one and let these other two sit, because, a lot of people try to spread themselves too thin. So it was one thing that really stuck out. Second thing you said, it's the people around you. Now, this is a huge concept, huge. Anytime I go to any marketing seminar or conference or just mastermind with somebody who makes more money than I do or just has a different sort of way of looking at things, my world changes instantly. I get exposed to it's like, visiting a different planet, and realizing there's a whole world out there you have no idea even exists. So if all you do is talk to people with bad mindset who are limited in their perception of the world around them, then it's kind of like deliberately keeping yourself in a prison and not doing anything to break out. Although the doors are wide open, all you have to do is just walk out and just start hanging out with different people. That's it. I mean, even if this means kind of detaching yourself from your family. I mean, I did it. At one point, I did not talk to any of my family members for like over a year because I couldn't help myself but to get involved in that negative conversation. Even after I became successful, it was only after I was able to get to this new level of mind control and was able to sort of protect myself from not getting involved, I was able to resume the relationship. But yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. And guys, if you have any ability or possibility to go to any marketing events whatsoever, I know that some of them are pretty expensive plus the travel costs, but if you live in Florida, for instance, you got a bunch of them happening all the time. If you live in Vegas or Los Angeles, there are tons of them happening there. If you're in London, there's always tons of marketing events in London and Manchester too. Like, if you can, surround yourself with people who are much smarter than you are, who have achieved a much higher level of success than you did. And the more of these people you have access to, the better, because you'll just realize how much of a small thinker you are, just like I did many, many times. So that was the second thing that stuck out for me. And the third thing, you mentioned the compound effect of the little things that you do and say to yourself. Okay, do you mind expanding perhaps on that a little bit? What kind of like little things can we do on a daily basis that can create the amazing compound effect of helping us break through the glass ceilings we have, or perhaps breaking out of a bad environment?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll just use an example that I think will then make everybody understand what I mean. And then I will give a few suggestions of how it will work in the online world. And So let's just say you're trying to lose weight. People, what do? They either go on a crash diet to where they eliminate all the bad stuff and just go into healthy. And then all they're doing is building up that desire for that bad stuff even stronger than before they went on that diet. So they may lose weight, but then end up gaining more because they're starving themselves. But if you did it the compound effect, so what that means is if you wanted to lose, say, 10 pounds, okay, just don't cut anything out of your diet other than, say, 200 calories a day. And if you take 200 calories a day, every 16 days, you'll lose a pound. So in 160 days, less than 6 months, you'll have lost your 10 pounds. And you wouldn't even feel like you've went on a diet because you have just basically eliminated 200 calories is it. One can of soda or whatever your fault is. You're just eliminating one little thing out of your day. So it's an easy change. You're not having to eliminate the pizzas that you have every Friday night or anything like that. You're just doing that one little change. And over time, it's going to compound itself into the results that you need. And one last example, because a lot of people have heard this, and there's still a lot of people that haven't, surprisingly, but if I wanted you to work for me for 30 days and I said to you, look, I will give you, $3 million cash right now for the 30 days, or I will pay you a penny a day and double it every day for 30 days, which one would you take? And everybody that doesn't know this example would say the 3 million, right? I mean, right now. The fact is, if you'd have taken the penny a day and doubled it every day, on the 30th day, I would owe you $5.36 million. So almost double the money you would have made just by understanding how compounding works. So now how can you use that into your online world? Honestly, the biggest thing is get up early. So if you're getting up at 7 o'clock now or getting up at 8 or getting up at 6, get up an hour early and do 3 things in the morning, every single morning in that hour. And that is all you need to do. It will change your life. I don't even care what you do. For instance, if you're a coffee drinker and you've programmed your mind to where you just need coffee, you can't function without that coffee. First of all, you're just lying to yourself and you've created that. So why don't you create the same problem, but put it into a green smoothie, something that's healthy for you, and have that every morning. Then go read 20 minutes worth of training or a book every morning, and then go do just 20 push-ups or something, just something physical. Do that every morning. And so what would you have? That would be take about a half hour maybe to read 20 minutes, do 20 push-ups and get your drink, and then spend the next 30 minutes on your online marketing. And if you just did that every day, and why do I say in the morning? Because you don't ever have plans in the morning, but to sleep. So you don't have to worry about Steve phoning you up. Hey, I got tickets to the hockey game tonight. Do you want to go? Because the hockey games don't start at 5 or 6 in the morning. Not only that, as you start to struggle because you're getting up an hour earlier, you're going to start thinking to yourself, okay, well, I need to go to bed an hour earlier. What do a lot of people do the last hour? They're usually eating. You know what I mean? So they're making themselves unhealthier. And of course, it plays with the mind. So honestly, the best advice I could give on something that would help you in the compound effect is do it for 6 months. I'm not kidding you. And trust me, you will do it for the rest of your life. What would happen is you'll probably even wake up an hour earlier later on when you've seen how much more powerful it's changed your life by just doing that. So just wake up 1 hour earlier and have 3 things that you do in the first half hour. The next half hour, do your online business, and your life just will change. It doesn't change overnight, but trust me, it makes big changes.
Oh, yeah. What you mentioned right now is actually a pretty common habit between all successful marketers that I know. Craig Ballantyne's the same way. He wakes up at 6 a.m., writes for an hour. Dan Kennedy talks a lot about, waking up in the morning. The first thing he's doing is like he's writing for an hour. And so, what I recommend our listeners to do, and what I recommend for our VIP coaching clients to do as well, is write 1 email per day, right? So wake up in the morning, read for 30 minutes, write 1 email in 30 minutes, and you're done. So what you're doing is you're basically reading, so you're gaining experience, knowledge, and you're developing yourself, and then you're creating content for other people to consume, which positions you as a leader, right? And you're mailing it out, so you're making an offer as well at the end of that email. So you're actually achieving lots of activities that you have to do as a leader in this community to make money. And at the same time, you're getting it done on time, and you've got the rest of the day in front of you. So, what you're saying is incredible. And I would even take it one step further and say, don't do an hour in the morning. If you try to do it in the past and it didn't work for you, do 20 minutes, do 15 minutes, just wake up, challenge yourself, just wake up, stay up for 10 minutes and go back to bed. Just do something different and do like this one tiny little thing. And you'll be surprised how you can trick your mind into obeying you and then develop all these incredible habits. Well,
actually, can I just say one point since you mentioned that? Just eliminate the snooze button. Don't push it. That is programming yourself to be lazy by pushing the snooze. When you set your alarm at 6, when that thing goes off, get up right that second. And you just watch what that little activity will change in your mindset.
Well, there you go. So, Ryan, first off, thank you so much for sharing all this wisdom. I have a feeling you'll be coming back to do another episode of the List Building Lifestyle for sure. In the meanwhile, how can we find out more about you, perhaps work with you, perhaps on a personal level, if there's an option, or just on any level?
Well, I have my Facebook group. It's Ryan Hauser's Mentoring. So if you just go your facebook.com/groups/Ryan Hauser's Mentoring, you can go in there where I have a group that I just started for people that are in my Ryan University. Other than that, if you want some free training, I did just forward over a funnel at ryanhauser.com that you can go there. I would send you to Twitter or anything like that, but I'm not as active out on those platforms.
All right, so you've heard it. So go on Facebook and search for Ryan Hauser's Mentoring. It's a Facebook group. I'm assuming you'll have to request access to get approved.
Yes.
And, just when you ask for access, just mention that you'll listen to the List Building Lifestyle and Ryan will approve you. And you can also go to ryanhauser.com if you would like to get some free training from Ryan. Well, once again, Ryan, I've enjoyed this tremendously. I will be reaching out for another episode because we got lots more to talk about. Thank you so much for sharing all this wisdom. And until next time we talk, have a good one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.